Also, I got my field museum merch. Wearing it after I went to the field museum. We got we got Sue the T-Rex, we got the Spinosaurus, we got the Archaeopteryx. The Archaeopteryx is insane, by the way. Like, dear God, the details on it are phenomenal. Like, cannot be captured in photograph. Um, I got the Titanosaur, the Patagotitan, updated bingo. Hey, look at that. We can actually read all of it at once. I can live with that. Okay, so I updated bingo. I cut out a few things, and also, I made sure that it can actually be randomized now. Let me put the link to this in the chat. And then if you want to select your own bingo to play along, so yeah, just click on the individual link, click on whatever number you want, 1 through 30, and you'll be good to go. And you'll be able to randomize your own bingo board. I'll try to just like skip over the ones that we've already seen. Like some of these I just shortened so that you know, they're easier on the eyes. Like entire clade of animals is one entry that used to have like Forest Rockidae as an example. If AI says Argentinosaurus is the biggest known sauropod, would it count to the biggest ever? Yes, as long as it's the biggest something ever. It doesn't have to be the biggest animal ever, otherwise I would have said the biggest animal ever. It's the biggest something ever. So yeah, we got Jurassic Park / world footage used. We get this all the fucking time. AI focuses on one clade too much. Again, that was on the last one. Overhyping an animal as being more badass on the last one. AI repeats itself. I think this is a new one because the AI does repeat itself a lot. Wild size overestimate. AI generated image / video. I clarified that one. Obligate scavenging mentioned. This I felt was an absolutely necessary one. Just because, like, we get it so fucking often. Just like, ooh, it was a scavenger. It was a scavenger. Fuck off. Everything scavenges. Piss off. Die. What about, like, most powerful and most dangerous? If that counts biggest? I would say that usually falls into, like, overhyping an animal as being more badass than it was. Butcher pronunciation, meaningless AI statement, pack hunting, megalodon. Even though it was huge / dangerous, it was an herbivore, obviously. We've got outlandish thumbnail bait in the free space this time because, like, obviously it's got to have some kind of thumbnail bait. Non-dinosaur and dinosaur list. Incorrect taxonomy. This is the hardest one to read, and I apologize for that, but it's just like, you know, calling dinosaurs / pliosaurs lizards. Footage with no commentary / only sound effects. I got rid of the documentary clarifier there, just because, like, this makes it a lot easier to fill in. And they do it with, like, sorry, movies and shit all the time too, like Jurassic Park World, so we might get like a double one with that. Basically, I just got rid of some of the ones that I felt wouldn't show up very often and replaced them with more reasonable ones. And yeah, like the free space is also randomized on your guys's. I've picked number 6 for mine because that is the one that has outlandish thumbnail bait as the free space. 25 myths about dinosaurs you might need to stop believing. This one caught my attention by a lot. For one thing, because of the title. For another thing, look at those fucking dislikes, man. They are wrong about the myths that we are wrong about. Oh, this one's 9 years old. Oh boy. You might need to stop believing these. Let's get into this.
I'm Mike with List 25, and here are 25 myths about dinosaurs you might need to stop believing.
I'll believe whatever I
Also,
want to believe.
this list goes out to our buddy and loyal fan, Max Owens. What's up, Max?
Okay. Okay, I don't know who believes this, to be frank. Like, yeah, this is very obviously not true. Like, children know this. Okay, if you want to be pedantic about it, then yes. Birds and dinosaurs... Okay, well, yes, birds and dinosaurs live together at the same time. But birds and humans also live together at the same time. Unless you are a young Earth creationist, you probably don't genuinely believe that dinosaurs and humans live together. I mean, like, hey, I will be proven wrong by very stupid people on TikTok or something who are just like almost conspiracy theorists for the sake of being conspiracy theorists, if you know what I mean. They're just like, everything's a conspiracy, man. Fucking And all it does is make us honest to God, like honest to goodness, real life conspiracy theorists, us real life 9/11 truthers, look stupid by associating with people who are just like, oh man, dinosaurs and people live together at the same time. Yeah, so this is very obviously not true. The last non-avian dinosaurs went extinct 66 million years ago. I cannot even begin to stress how long ago that was. That is an insane gap of time. So much of mammalian evolution has taken place in that time frame. And yeah, humans are only like Homo sapiens at least are only like 300,000, 400,000 years old. So we are separated by a fucking lot. We have not been around all that long. But like obviously a lot of dinosaur media does show humans and dinosaurs living together. You got stuff like the Flintstones and like 1 million BC and shit like that. Generally older stuff. But even then, you will still have a lot of dinosaur media that does involve humans in some way, like Jurassic Park, like fucking Land of the Lost with Will Ferrell. But that uses like other means to bring like people to dinosaurs or dinosaurs to people, rather than just like, oh, these guys live together all along. It's very rare that you'll see media these days that is like actually trying to say like, oh yeah, dinosaurs and humans are contemporary. I think honestly the Good Dinosaur is one of the more recent examples I can think of that, and no one remembers that movie. So, let's continue.
A common false dinosaur fact coming from the world of science fiction.
Why is the T-Rex chasing Pirates of the Caribbean cosplay? Oh yeah, Primal. Primal's another example. I still haven't seen that show, but I know about it. Yeah, why is the T-Rex chasing Pirates of the Caribbean cosplayers? There's 2 Jack Sparrows, and these 2 ladies are about to slap him. Back to back, in a row. Anyways.
Dinosaurs actually never coexisted with humans.
Unless you count
birds. The
birds.
last dinosaur died out 62 million years before our first recognizable hominid ancestor appeared on Earth.
Okay, I was gonna say like 62 million years. I've never heard that, but like hominid ancestor, like okay, I believe that. Like yeah, totally.
24.
Jurassic Park will be a reality once we master cloning. Yeah, no, no. Here's what you gotta know about cloning. Or about cloning in Jurassic Park, right? It's science fiction, or it's bordering on science fantasy, because you see, DNA has a half-life of 512 years. What this means is basically, every 512 years, like let's say you have 100% perfectly intact DNA. After 500 years, 50%. After another 512 years, 25%. Another 512 years, 12.5%. And again, that is 66 million years. By the first couple thousand of years, that DNA is almost gone. It's really just, it's not possible. Even if we did get, like, you know, the dinosaur DNA inside of a mosquito or something, even if we somehow managed to get that, it just wouldn't work. For one thing, you'd probably get a lot of mosquito DNA in there, honestly. And for another thing, like, the DNA would just be way too old. Like, yeah, forget cloning. You'd be better off inventing a time machine to get dinosaurs. I could see, like, a time machine, if it could exist, and actually go back in time and not just forward. Yeah. I could see that being way more plausible for bringing back dinosaurs. Bring back Prehistoric Park with Nigel Marven. That's how you do it. That's how you do it, man. So, yeah, this is also, like, obviously, it's, maybe not obviously, because to the layman, they're not going to understand this, which is, like, you know, why the science in Jurassic Park works the way it does, which is fine. It works well as a concept for a movie, but as actual science, it's basically nonsense.
One of the most commonly accepted dinosaur myths is that we will be able to clone and propagate dinosaurs once we get better at cloning.
I don't know if that's what I would really call a common myth, but whatever.
Not true. DNA has a fragile structure and breaks down soon after a creature's death, and surely after 62 million years.
60,
So, sadly...
Okay, 66 million years. Okay, 62 million years before hominids is what you were saying. 66 million years total, but even then, this is 9 years ago. I think since then, like back then it was 65 million years. That's why, in a lot of marketing for movies, you'd get like Jurassic Park, like an adventure, 65 million years in the making. And then there was the fucking shitty Adam Driver movie, 65, which at this point should have taken place basically immediately after. There should have been like a bunch of turtles and phytosaurs running around. So, if you called it 66, that would have been better. But I don't know, maybe 66 is trademarked by Lucasfilms. Because they're going to make a movie called 66 about Order 66. I don't fucking know.
For all the Jurassic Park fans, it seems as though we won't be having Disney-owned dino theme parks.
23.
Would Disney own them? Fuck, dude. Disney's already getting rid of Dino Land. I don't think they'd want dinosaurs. They're not marketable enough, even though Jurassic World is doing just fine, but whatever, man. Archaeologists study dinosaurs. Yeah, no, that's paleontology. Okay, this is honestly something that does annoy me a bit. Like, oh man, look at this dinosaur that archaeologists found. No. Archaeologists are the ones who end up looking over, like, old human civilization stuff. Like, archaeologists are going to ancient Egypt and stuff like that, and, like, Pompeii. Or, I don't know, those weird Mesoamerican cliff civilizations and shit like that. So, yes, totally worth covering. Because, no, it's paleontologists who study dinosaurs, not archaeologists. Like, it's one of those things where, you know, it's a distinction that really does matter. Because it's like, it's a difference between, you know, Dr. Grant and Indiana Jones.
Archaeologists do study the past, and they do plenty of digging, but they don't study dinosaurs. They study humans, and some study animals and their relationships with humans over the past 3 to 4 million years.
Yeah, that would be things like, you know, us propagating, you know, farming and domestication of animals like dogs and, you know, our livestock, stuff like that. Not really, again, dinosaurs or even really extinct animals, unless it happens to be like, you know, an extinct animal that is in some way related to humans. Stuff like that. Yeah, animal husbandry, basically. A long-winded way to say animal husbandry so I can shove more ads into this video.
Paleontologists are the scientists who study dinosaurs through paleontology, the study of fossils to learn about life in previous geological periods.
Paleontologists study dinosaurs through the study of paleontology. That's good. That's good.
22.
Why'd you do that? Oh shit, hold up.
20.
Okay, so I don't know why the fuck he did that.
22.
Yeah, so some dinosaurs could actually fly. They're called birds. So yeah, so some dinosaurs could fly. Even if you discount birds, there are flying species of dinosaurs. Such as the... I always fuck their names up. It's Yee! The little bat-winged dudes. Yeah, Scansoriopterids. I always want to say, like, Scansauropterygians, but that's wrong, because that would basically be, like, mixing up Yi-Chi with a plesiosaur, and that's wrong. Like, yeah, this is a dinosaur, and it can fly. Ooh, I like this. I like the watercolor on this one. That looks nice. But yeah, very strange little footnote in dinosaur evolution. I'm pretty sure Yi was from the Middle Jurassic, which is around the time that I'm pretty sure other birds were evolving. Oh, late Jurassic. Okay, so God, the Jurassic was just the time where dinosaurs were just like, I want to fly. I want to get away. I want to fly away. I'm a fucking dragonfly. There were other relatives of Yi. I'm trying to think of their names. Like, okay, listen. This guy is about to talk about pterosaurs, right? He's gonna talk about pterosaurs, but he's ignoring the dinosaurs that could fly. Number one being birds. Number two being things like the Scansauropterids. And also Microraptorines. Um, uh, it's yeah, Epidexoterics. It's too many X's. Too many X's and too many P's. Okay, it's two of each. Like, yeah, Yi was found a while after this, so I'll give him a pass on Yi. But again, like, you do have birds, and you do have Microraptorines. And Microraptors, like, Microraptor, I think, was discovered in 2001. Less of an excuse there. However, it's gone back and forth a little bit on whether or not Microraptor was capable of powered flight. Oh, Yi was discovered in April of 2015, 10 years ago? Okay, yeah, he should have known better. But yeah, it's gone back and forth on whether or not Microraptor would have been capable of powered flight, but I'm pretty sure the modern consensus is that yes, Microraptor was capable of powered flight. So that is a flying dinosaur. Powered flight as in like flapping your wings in order to gain lift. Like, like birds do. At least, flying birds. Like flying birds do, like bats, like flying insects. Because some animals just glide, like flying squirrels or flying snakes or Draco lizards or colugas. Or are they colugas? No, colugo. Colugo. These guys are weird by the... Look at that face. Look at that face. Fucking freaky ass critter. Oh, look how stretchy he is. Stretchy. What a weirdo. Yeah, these guys are just gliders. Flying fish are also gliders. They can't stay out of the water for multiple reasons. Yeah, there's flying snakes. Flying snake. See? They go like whoosh, 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 whoosh through the air. And then there's the Draco lizard. They just kind of like, oh, my rib cage. They spread it out. And they glide through the air. So things like birds and bats and pterosaurs and Yi and like a lot of insects, those are powered flyers. Yichi's holotype was discovered in 2007. It probably wasn't described for a while after that though. And even then, I'm pretty sure Epidexoterics was discovered even prior to that. But like they just thought it was like Finger Boy. Like they weren't sure exactly what to do with the... Because like, hold on, I'm pretty sure it features in Dinosaur Planet. Yeah, see? This is supposed to be like Yi, but they have it as just Finger Boy. Look at those big long fingers. Like, or Planet Dinosaur rather. Planet Dinosaur here seems to be portraying it as almost like an eye. So, long story short, yes, some dinosaurs could fly.
Again, nope. When we think of dinosaurs, we often think of the pterodactyl or ichthyosaur.
But yeah, pterosaurs are not dinosaurs. They are close relatives. They are both archosaurs that basically started evolving sometime during the Triassic. But pterosaurs are not dinosaurs.
But they're not even dinos. The earliest vertebrates scientists have identified as developing powered flight, pterosaurs, were reptiles but not dinosaurs.
21.
Again, I feel like this is something that goes way, 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 way back. Like, this is, like, back to old interpretations of dinosaurs, right? Like Fantasia, where you see the T-Rex fighting a Stegosaurus while there's, like, Parasaurolophus and Nodosaurus in the background and shit like that. That's what I end up thinking of for this. But Fantasia was in, like, the 1940s. So, yeah. I think, like, Arthur Conan Doyle's Lost World also engaged in this a little bit. I think that there is a bit of this rhetoric and also the young Earth creationist stuff where it's just like, yeah, all the dinosaurs were around at the same time and Parasaurolophus was breathing fire and which dinosaurs was T-Rex alive with? T-Rex was alive for the last like 2 or 3 million years of the Mesozoic period. So it was around with things like Triceratops, Edmontosaurus, Ankylosaurus, Anzu. Well, that's just like, stuff within the Hell Creek Formation. There was also other stuff surviving around the late Maastrichtian all over the world. Things like, I want to say Majungasaurus in Madagascar. Yeah, Laura Titan over in Asia. Where is that from anyway? Whatever. Yeah, Alamosaurus in Texas. That was another one. So that was a, quote unquote long neck that T-Rex was contemporary with. I'm pretty sure that Alamosaurus would have been more contemporary with Tyrannosaurus macraensis, which is the southern species that lives in places like Texas and Mexico. Russia, that's what it was. Russia's Asia, even though it sounds weird to say that. Still don't understand. Is Pteranodon or Pterodactyl a species name and which one is family, genus, whatever? I'm not that good at classification. Pteranodon is a genus name. Pterodactyl is kind of just a catch-all term for pterosaurs. It's not really used scientifically. It's pretty much just like a colloquial term. But yeah, Pteranodon is like, hold up. It's this guy. This is a species of Pteranodon. I want to say it's like, I think that might be Ingens actually. I don't think it's Longiceps. I'm pretty sure it's Ingens. That might actually be the one at the Field Museum. Is it Longiceps? I think it is, yeah. Okay, what's Ingens then? Wait, was that the one that was like... Oh, it might be Ingens. Because it's got like the sort of hump in the back of the crest here. Anyway, pterodactyl is just kind of a colloquial term for the entire group of pterosaurs, which like any of the flying dudes like this fall under. But there are pterodactyl, there is the genus Pterodactylus, which was from, I want to say, like the late Jurassic in Europe. And it was just like a little flying dude. It was honestly, like, compared to other pterosaurs, nothing super special, but it's like, it was one of the first ones they found. And because of that, the name, it's like your mom calling everything a Nintendo, right? It's like, because we have this first one. Oh, Ingens is a synonym of Longiceps. I didn't know that. They need to figure out their shit with Pteranodon already. Because, like, we got Longiceps, we got Sternbergi. Is it Geosternbergia? I don't know. Yeah, Pteranodon is native to the US. It's native to, like, the Midwest, generally speaking, because that's where the Western Interior Seaway was, and Pteranodon was a coastal animal. But yeah, basically, pterodactyl is not a term that's really used scientifically. If you want to say, like, all of the flyy dudes that aren't dinosaurs, then just say pterosaurs. I don't know if this is really a myth so much as just like people aren't even asking this question in the first place. Because like anyone who knows much about dinosaurs, I want to say, is gonna understand that they lived for a very long time and like across different eras. Like again, children who get into dinosaurs know this, but like I wouldn't really call this a myth. But I don't know, man. Again, this is a very classic way of looking at dinosaurs. Like, again, the Fantasia is the example that I would go to. Also, Land Before Time. That's another example that I would go for. Land Before Time has an Apatosaurus, or maybe he's supposed to be a Brontosaurus, I don't know. A Stegosaurus. Those two are actually contemporary. Mixed with a Triceratops. I think she's supposed to be a Saurolophus. Maybe a Parasaurolophus, I don't know. I'm guessing that by like the shorter crest, Ducky and her family are supposed to be Saurolophus. And a Pteranodon. Saurolophus and Pteranodon, I think timeline-wise, were contemporary. Saurolophus was living out in Asia, though. Pteranodon was living in North America. If you want to say Ducky is a Parasaurolophus, then at the very least, they're all North American species, but I'm pretty sure she's supposed... Oh, Saurolophus did live in North America? Okay. I thought it was only, like, the Asian ones, but I guess it's sort of a Sarcosuchus situation. You got the African one and the South American one. Oh, the Saurolophus is Maastrichtian, too? Damn, alright. No, Spike's supposed to be a Stegosaurus. Yeah, because he's got, like, the little spikes on his tail, right? Does he? Does he? He doesn't. Okay, he is supposed to be a Stegosaurus, but now I'm looking at him differently, like... He could pass as a Notosaurid. I know that he's adopted, like Ducky's family adopts him. I remember that. I recently rewatched The Land Before Time. It's just like, damn, this is a short-ass movie. He's a Yoshi. There you go. Because, like, we never see Spike's parents. Like, I always just saw him as a stegosaur because he's got, like, the little baby plates on his back. I never saw, like, spikes on his tail, though.
This is a major dinosaur myth. The famous Tyrannosaurus and Brontosaurus, now identified as Apatosaurus.
Nope, not anymore. Now that outdated fact is outdated. Yeah, my bad. I thought Saurolophus would have been, like, around the same time as Parasaurolophus. So, my B-dog. Earlier in 2015, Brontosaurus was valid again. Damn, this guy's just behind on major dinosaur news. I haven't marked anything off the bingo board because this guy is unfortunately not AI. He's just a guy. So by the time this video came out, Brontosaurus was valid again. But yeah, it is correct that Tyrannosaurus and Apatosaurus and Brontosaurus lived farther apart than we do from T-Rex. They are separated by a great deal of time.
Lived 65 million years apart, further apart than the last dinosaurs and the first humans.
Okay, I think he totally mixed that up. Okay, I want to say that... Oh, God, I'm so bad at math. I think that T-Rex and the late Jurassic are separated by about 90 million years. And we are separated from T-Rex by 66 million years. But he was saying that they were separated by 65 million years, which at the time of this video would have been the accurate estimate for how long we are separated by T-Rex. But he was saying 62 million years earlier, which is still wrong. Fuck. Oi.
20.
This common...
Wait. What? What? That is what happened. Oh no. Wait, how is this a myth? Excuse me, that's literally what happened. Are you gonna be pedantic and say, oh, it was a meteor actually? How is this a myth? Hold the fuck up. What are you gonna say now?
This commonly held dinosaur myth is heavily debated by paleontologists. Though it's mostly accepted that the asteroid strike wiped out the last of the dinosaurs, some scientists believe dinosaurs had already been declining for many millennia.
19.
Oh boy, that's wrong. That's wrong. I'm very sorry. That is incredibly incorrect. Dinosaurs were doing very well during the Maastrichtian. They were doing great. That is basically a myth that would be perpetuated by the final episode of Walking with Dinosaurs. So what you're believing is honestly a myth. Like, the dinosaurs were doing very well by the end of the Maastrichtian. Like, I love Walking with Dinosaurs, the original one, as much as the next guy. But, like, the final episode does a really poor job at showcasing what the Hell Creek Formation was like at the end of the Age of the Dinosaurs. Like, Walking with Dinosaurs portrays the meteor strike as almost kind of merciful. Like, the dinosaurs are already on their way out, and it's just like, alright, let's get rid of them. It would be really hard, I think, to definitively say that, like, the dinosaurs were on their way out at the end of the Maastrichtian unless you had, like, a lack of fossil evidence to showcase that them being there, but we still have loads of fucking fossils from the Maastrichtian from all over the world. I go to the Hell Creek Formation, I find the Triceratops. They're all out there. Yeah, that is real bad. So next we got dinosaurs were all scaly, which, like, since about the 90s has been common scientific knowledge, but God knows that modern day dinosaur fans are, or at least the general public, are struggling to catch up. In part due to fucking Jurassic World. Just... oh my fucking god. What a missed opportunity. What a missed opportunity from Jurassic World to bring in feathered dinosaurs. But yeah, if you want to be pedantic about it, then yes, all dinosaurs did have scales, but they weren't scaly all over, which I guess is what we're getting at here. It's just putting that into 4 words instead of way more, but whatever.
Despite our images of the T-Rex and Stegosaurus, not all dinosaurs were scale-covered hulking beasts. The past 2 decades of research have unearthed numerous dinosaur species which were covered in feathers. Despite their feathers, they were flightless, likely using them for insulation or in mating rituals.
Except for Microraptor, which was absolutely using them for flying. It'd be really nice if you showed some of the fossils of feathered dinosaurs. I would have really appreciated that. Instead of, like, just this drawing. Because, like, from a scientific communication perspective, that almost seems like a sort of take my word for it sort of thing. Which, like, isn't the best for trying to convince people that to not believe in a myth anymore, but, like, whatever, I guess.
18.
You just fucking said that they were on their way out at the end of the fucking Cretaceous. You just fucking said that. This is a complete contradiction to one of the fucking things you just said. Weak and easily extinctable. Is that a word? Is that a word? Like, I don't think that this image of dinosaurs has existed since before Jurassic Park. Like, I don't know if I still have this book, but, like, I remember having this super old dinosaur book that showed illustrations of, like, sauropods being so fucking big and stupid that they're just getting, like, stuck in the mud and tar and stuff, and it's just like, this might be why they went extinct. Like, I understand that this is the myth, but, like, the myth is basically confirming what he said like 2 myths ago. Like, yeah, an asteroid strike killed off the thriving dinosaurs, but they were already on their way out. But it turns out, no, they're not actually weak and extinctable. Fuck you talking about, man?
Not so. Dinosaurs hold the record for dominating the planet longer than any other land animal. Ruling over 150 million years, dinosaurs were masters of adaptation and evolution.
17.
Stupid. Even then, all that's saying is that they lived for a long time. Tuataras have lived for a long time. I hate to be the one to break this to you. They would be very easily extinctable. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, Stegosaurus is going to get mentioned. I don't know, these segments are so short that, like, I don't know if we're going to get, like, the walnut brain or the 2 brains thing. I don't know, man.
Those who believe dinosaurs were evolutionarily weak also tend to think the creatures were pretty stupid. Paleontologists aren't too on board with this assumption. Though intelligence is hard to determine, especially for such ancient creatures, scientists have found examples of parenting, social behavior, and group living among dinosaurs.
This is all true, by the way. Parenting is, like, found in species like Oviraptor and Maiasaura. Because we do have evidence of the dinosaurs just, like, taking care of their eggs. Social behaviors, like, we do have evidence of some dinosaurs herding, or at least congregating in big groups. Like, we have the evidence for pack hunting with Deinonychus. We have evidence for herding and potentially pack hunting with Pachyrhinosaurus and Albertosaurus. It's kind of impossible to study intelligence through fossils. It's the best thing we can do is basically compare the shapes of the brain cases to living species, which is how we can determine that things like T-Rex would have been more similar in intelligence to things like crocodiles than things like birds. They did this with Allosaurus too. I remember them talking about this in the Big Al special, where it's just like, yeah, this thing is, like, the brain case is very similarly shaped to that of a crocodile. So it's very reasonable to assume that they would have been similarly intelligent. That's pretty much all you can do in terms of, like, determining dinosaur intelligence. You could also compare the size of the brain case to the size of the body. That's what they ended up doing with Troodon, which is why Troodon was kind of memed for a while as like the smartest dinosaur, the most intelligent dinosaur, and then you got stuff like the Troodon Man, where it's like, hey, if the asteroid never wiped out the dinosaurs, then we would have gotten the Troodon Man, and dinosaurs would have just evolved to become like people. A friend of mine was really weirdly bothered about feathered dinosaurs recently. A lot of people are for some reason. I really don't get that at all. There's this weird idea that feathered dinosaurs, well, there's a lot of weird ideas around feathered dinosaurs. Some of them are that, like, oh, feathered dinosaurs are all a Chinese conspiracy because all of the feathered dinosaurs are coming from China, which, no, they're not. They're just not. One of the first evidences that we found of feathered dinosaurs was found in Germany in the 1800s. No. Oh yeah, fucking Gareth Edwards is saying that, like, oh, feathered dinosaurs aren't scary. They're kind of just like big chickens. I will say this until the day I die. The reason that the velociraptors in Jurassic Park were scary is not because they're scaly. Because you see, scaly and scary are only one letter apart. Therefore, they're the same. I think that the reason the velociraptors in Jurassic Park were scary is because they were built up over the entire movie to be these very horrifying monsters, basically. And then when they actually got out, then it's like, oh, it's so much worse than we could have imagined. They're setting up ambushes on people and outsmarting them. They figured out how to open doors. And it's like, the thing that they tell you earlier in the movie about how they never tried the same thing twice and they like keep learning. Like, they never try the same thing twice that they fail. Like, in the scene where it's like they're trying to lock the doors and the velociraptor is like trying to push its way in by opening the door. Like, eventually that doesn't work anymore once they manage to lock it. And so what does the raptor do next? It tries something else. It busts through the fucking window. The raptors in Jurassic Park, Alan Grant had a SPAS 12, and they had him on the back step. Compare that to the fucking Pyroraptor scene in Jurassic World Dominion, where we finally have a goddamn feathered raptor in one of these movies, and Chris Pratt and Pilot Lady see this fucking raptor come straight towards them, very threateningly, and they just, like, pull out a knife and a stun baton out. Like, they're ready to go with it. They're ready to go again. Like, they're not scared. They're not nervous. Are they even surprised? No, not really. They just survived a plane crash, and they're about to be attacked by a dinosaur, and they're only fucking nervous once it starts swimming for no reason. Not to mention, we never even get a fucking comment on the fact that this is a feathered raptor from anyone in the entire movie. Because the Pyroraptor is a one-scene wonder that, by the way, doesn't even share screen time with Alan fucking Grant. Alan Grant sees a fully feathered Moros Intrepidus and says nothing. Oh, and when the fucking Pyroraptor, by the way, at the end of the scene is like clawing at them through the metal grate, Pilot Lady just zaps it through the bars and it's just like, ow. You got me. Writing the Pyroraptor to be a fucking goober that is completely non-threatening to these characters because, let's be real, none of them can ever fucking die. That's what made it non-threatening. It's not the fact that it had feathers, even though they also fucked that up by giving it a horrible, ugly monster face. A deleted scene with Alan Grant and the Pyroraptor? Are you fucking kidding? Do you know how many scenes in Dominion could have been deleted? The Pyroraptor attack is one of those scenes. You can cut the scene after fucking Chris Pratt and Pilot Lady get out of the fucking crashed plane. Just cut the scene from there. None of the movie changes. The rest of the movie stays the exact fucking same. All you need to know is that they survived the plane crash. Somehow. Fucking God.
And many species even have brains quite large for their size.
16.
What? Why are you saying both? Are you saying they were neither? Yeah, they had no blood. Fossil evidence of blood has never shown up. Therefore, dinosaurs that were not hot or cold-blooded. Generally speaking, the consensus is that yes, dinosaurs by and large were warm-blooded. There are some animals that are kind of in the middle. Great white sharks are an example of that. Zuko is also an example of that. Zuko is... There we go. Zuko is an alligator lizard. He can warm his body up as much as he needs to, but he can't lower his body temperature. That's something that, like, we can do as, like, full-on endotherms. Zuko can do half of that. He can't do the other half. Meanwhile, like, my little frogs here, fully ectotherms. Yeah, what up, my endotherms? What up, my endies?
Though the animals we're familiar with today are either warm or cold
That's a Dimetrodon. That's not even a dinosaur.
blooded, the same doesn't apply to dinos. Paleontologists have found dinosaurs from the Mesozoic period were neither warm nor cold-blooded. Rather, their being dinosaur-blooded was a unique form of body heating and cooling that appears to have changed with the dinosaur's metabolism over its lifetime.
15.
Change with the dinosaur. I have never heard of any of this. Dinosaur-blooded. I've never heard of this at all. Oh, Savannah. I've heard that Savannah monitors are an absolute fucking bastard to take care of. Because, like, they get way bigger than people expect, and they need super high heat, and they mostly need to eat insects, otherwise they're at risk of getting super obese. And, like, feeding a big-ass lizard on a diet of mostly invertebrates is just a giant pain in the ass. Like, fuck, dude. I would not want to get a Savannah monitor. Yeah, don't you know the blood types? A, B, O, and dinosaur? Jesus Christ. Anyway. So yes, they did. Yes, they did. The Earth, in general, was warmer in the Mesozoic. Now, there were some cold areas, especially going into the Cretaceous, such as around the poles.
Well, I had put a bet that you would get a bingo by now. Regardless, I think you deserve this for putting up with the sludge.
Honestly, we should... Hold the fuck up. We should take a look at bingo, because, like... Okay. We got some fucking shit to go over here. Thank you for the $10, by the way. He did repeat himself at one point. We had, like, a picture of Jurassic Park being used. Nothing AI generated. We're not going to get that. He did mention family groups, but not specifically pack hunting. Yeah, if he means exclusively warm climates, then I'll back him up on that. But saying that they didn't live in warm climates at all is insane, because that's most of the world during the Mesozoic. Non-dinosaur and dinosaur list. I'm counting the Dimetrodon as that. Highly outdated facts. Like, even by the standards of this video being 9 years old, they were still outdated by then. I guess we couldn't say unrelated animal uses B-roll for the Dimetrodon, because, like, yeah. Yeah, where his video gets worse, actually. There we go. As I was saying, most of the Earth was just generally warmer during the Mesozoic period. I don't believe there were even polar ice caps for most of it. Now, by the Cretaceous, the North and South Pole were starting to cool down a bit, and, like, there is some indication that areas like the Prince Creek Formation would have gotten pretty cold. Like, and may have even snowed at some points. This is areas that, like, some troodontids are found, Pachyrhinosaurus, what's it called? Nanuqsaurus. Yeah, these are areas that would have gotten cold. Being totally snowy, like, all the time is actually not, highly believed at the moment. Like, these wouldn't have been, like, a tundra. So, being... like, seeing dinosaurs being coated in, like, blizzards and stuff really would have been a fairly rare sight, but it is really cool looking, so a lot of people like to focus on that, which fair the fuck enough, right?
A recently dug up Dilophosaurus fossil.
Oh my god, okay. Oh, that's so much worse. If you were gonna talk about fucking Prince Creek, I would have gone with you, but dude. Okay, so Antarctica. Dilophosaurus, by the way, is a species of dinosaurs known from Antarctica. Antarctica in the early Jurassic? Okay, so you see how there's trees in the background here. You see how there's trees? There's not trees on Antarctica today. I don't know if Antarctica was, like, totally tropical, but, like, yeah, it was more or less temperate. This was not like an Arctic environment, right? This was not a polar environment. So this was a dinosaur that lived in a warm climate. You have picked a terrible example for this. There's Imperabator, there's like fucking Antarctopelta, there's Nanuqsaurus, Pachyrhinosaurus, Edmontosaurus, fucking Troodon. Fuck, dude. Well, all kinds of critters here. Look how warm it is. Look how lush and vibrant it is. That's what it looked like. Also, I saw a mount of a Dilophosaurus when I was at the Field Museum. Not like a skeleton, but like a statue, like a model. It was very cool. Dilophosaurus is one of my favorite dinosaurs, so yeah. You have picked a terrible example for this, is what I'm saying, basically.
In the South Pole is proving that dinosaurs lived and thrived even in freezing polar regions.
Trees.
Near to this fossil,
Trees.
paleontologists found numerous other partial dinosaur skeletons.
Trees.
14.
The Stegosaurus tail brain. This is mostly in regards to Stegosaurus, as far as I'm aware. I don't think I've ever heard of any other dinosaur besides Stegosaurus being described as like having a second brain, basically. This is, again, like one of those super old facts. Yeah, I rarely hear these kinds of things being like circulated anymore. Like, this is super, super old. And again, it was only ever in reference to Stegosaurus.
Paleontologist Charles Marsh found a wide cavity in the hip area of various dinosaurs' spinal canals, which he speculated as the location of a rear second brain. This dinosaur assumption has since been disproven. Many vertebrates, including us humans, have an enlarged nerve cluster at the base of our spines.
13.
Oh, all prehistoric reptiles were dinosaurs? Is that why you used a fucking Dimetrodon right here? Is that why? Did anything even have two brains? I don't think so. There's plenty of things that have no brains. I would be more appreciative of this fact in particular if you weren't guilty of using it yourself.
Though many people think dinosaur is the name for any reptile which walked the earth before the appearance of humans, only about 10% of reptiles in the Mesozoic era were actually dinosaurs.
Certainly not this. Okay, this looks like Hell Creek. So I guess that's supposed to be Inferno Dracon. Which, by the way, fucking 10 out of 10 name. 10 out of 10 as Darkid name. So fucking baller. Because yeah, we got T-Rex and Kylosaurus. This looks like either Struthiomimus or Ornithomimus. Pachycephalosaurus, Triceratops, Anzu, and what looks like indeterminate large dromaeosaurid. Yeah, back then I think this would have been like indeterminate as Darkid or maybe Quetzalcoatlus, but this year the Hell Creek as Darkid was named to be Inferno Dracon, which I think is just so fucking rad.
12.
Dinosaurs were terrors for mammals. I mean, the ones that ate them would have been. There is this kind of like idea that dinosaurs were basically stopping mammals from evolving, which, I mean, sort of. Like, dinosaurs would have been taking up niches that would have allowed mammals to grow into larger sizes, but like mammals were doing just fine as their own thing, right? It's like saying that rats aren't doing very well because they're small and little, you know what I mean? A theory once that said that Pachycephalosaurus was evolved from Dryosaurus. That's not correct at all. Dryosaurus is more closely related to Iguanodon, while Pachycephalosaurus is a Marginocephalian, more closely related to things like Triceratops. So things like more basal ones, like I think, I want to say Yinlong? Yeah. Super basal Marginocephalians like Yinlong would have been more likely to evolve into things like Pachycephalosaurus and Triceratops than things like Dryosaurus. But yeah, mammals were doing just fine throughout the entire age of the dinosaurs. It's just that, you know, they were small. They were small and like specialized to their own little niche. They just like, they didn't really have the ability to grow big because all those niches were already filled by dinosaurs. And you know, once all the dinosaurs were gone and those niches were left open, then mammals were like, fuck yeah, let's go. I mean, hell, we even see this with dinosaurs sometimes. Like, as soon as the niche is left open, then dinosaurs will absolutely take advantage of it. Like, look at North America. as soon as like all the Carcharodontosaurs were gone with like Acrocanthosaurus going extinct, then the Tyrannosaurs were just like, fuck yeah, let's get huge, bro. And then they either got really huge, or the other guys in Asia that were already huge moved on over and took over even the North American Tyrannosaurs. We're still not sure. I think that the main consensus supports the Tarbosaurus land bridge theory.
While dinosaurs did pose a significant threat to mammals, mammals also posed a major threat to dinosaurs.
They ate the
Just
eggs.
as in today's food chain, larger mammalian carnivores feasted on smaller dino meat.
There is actually fossil evidence of this happening now. There's basically like a new fighting dinosaurs fossil, except it's with a mammal and a dinosaur. I don't remember the exact two species involved. Was it a Psittacosaurus? I don't remember actually. But yeah, yeah, it was a Psittacosaurus. So yeah, there is a fossil of these guys locked in fucking combat, and it is so radical. It's basically the same thing as like the Velociraptor Protoceratops fight. But yeah, considering there were plenty of small dinosaurs, the mammals that could prey on those small dinosaurs would absolutely have been a threat to them.
11.
The Flintstones is Dino Truth. Is this not just the same as like humans lived alongside dinosaurs? Also, Dino Truth. Can you even name what species Dino is supposed to be?
The first dinosaur to appear in the Flintstones opening sequence was long identified as a Brontosaurus, but this is a dinosaur myth. That's why it's on the list. There was never a dinosaur like the Brontosaurus. Paleontologists incorrectly put the head of a Camarasaurus on the bottom.
Okay, so we've already done the Brontosaurus thing earlier in this video. We've already mentioned that, you know, Brontosaurus existed. Even though this was 9 years ago, Brontosaurus was a valid genus. So he is correct in that, like, hey, for a while Brontosaurus was an invalid genus, but now it is again. Fuck, dude.
Body of an Apatosaurus.
10.
Also, why would you equate that to the Flintstones? Just say that like Brontosaurus wasn't real. You know? But the Flintstones had so little to do with that. Just say that fucking Brontosaurus wasn't real, which still wouldn't be accurate, but like at least I wouldn't be confused. Oh my god, the too big to walk shit. Oh, at least he's saying it's a myth. Jesus Christ.
Massive sauropods, which did exist, in contrast to the fake Brontosaurus from number 11,
Again, Brontosaurus is real.
included the Apatosaurus and Brachiosaurus. Some juvenile assumptions purported that such heavy creatures could not carry their own body weight.
What do you mean juvenile assumptions? Are you saying that like they're childish? Because like this was something that real paleontologists, real adult paleontologists, mind you, did believe for some time. That's why you see a lot of older depictions of sauropods like wading around in swamps. And that is why in Jurassic Park, when they see the Brachiosaurus, Ellie is just like, this thing doesn't live in a swamp. So why would you call it juvenile? I'm just confused on that.
And had to maneuver in shallow water.
Also, yeah, we got Bronchiosaurus, which is like one I hear a lot, so I honestly could just kind of go one ear and out the other. So I'm gonna go butcher pronunciation. This really doesn't fit our usual dino sludge format.
Water. These early assumptions have been disproven by findings of the sauropod's well-developed muscular bones. For context,
Also, their trackways, that's kind of an important thing. Yeah, this doesn't really follow our usual bingo sludge format, but boy, oh boy, are we getting a lot of content out of it.
the highest assumption for a Brachiosaurus weight is equal to over 8 full-grown African elephants.
9.
Well, you just established that dinosaurs and mammals were living together. Hell, if anything, I would say that this one has been supplanted by like birds and dinosaurs lived in different times. That's what I would argue, right? Like I have seen so many people who are just like, oh, birds and dinosaurs living in the same place at the same time. Don't you know that the dinosaurs evolved into birds? When they don't really realize that, like, the dinosaurs had already been evolving into birds since like the middle Jurassic, and that birds and dinosaurs were contemporary like until the non-avian dinosaurs died out. Honestly, that's what I would put on this list instead.
Both mammals and dinosaurs came onto the scene
Hey, look,
during
there's a
the late
guy.
Triassic period starting about 237 million years ago. And contrary to some thoughts, mammals did not eat dinosaur eggs in mass to threaten their extinction.
8,
Again, that is a super old theory. That, like, this guy has found the fucking book that I was talking about, the one that was made in like the 1960s or 70s or something. Like, yeah, again, like on top of like sauropods being so big and stupid that they just walked into mud and like illness killing off dinosaurs. It's like, oh, mammals just ate all the dinosaur eggs and that's why they died out. Fuck, dude. Maybe you didn't say that, like, oh, the asteroid didn't wipe them out. Then people wouldn't be saying that fucking mammals ate all their eggs. Stinky. I feel like we're covering such old stuff. Like, again, I feel like we got past the whole dinosaurs were slow thing after Jurassic Park. When you've got, like, the T-Rex chasing the Jeep at 30 miles an hour and the Velociraptors being described as moving at cheetah speed.
A common dinosaur myth is that the creatures were slow moving and dragged their tails on the ground. In fact,
Okay. Again, this basically died with Jurassic Park. To the bit's credit, it is very old. So is Jurassic Park. This video came out in 2015. Jurassic Park came out in 1993. I mentioned this at the beginning of the last, or one of the last Slice streams, right? I was at the Field Museum recently. Represent. And they had a Daspletosaurus mount there. And there was a little placard there that said that the Daspletosaurus mount that they had was in the upright, tail-dragging posture until 1994. 1994. When you like think of a dinosaur now, when you think of like a T-Rex, right? Or any kind of theropod like that, you probably imagine it in like the horizontal posture with the tail sticking out and all that good shit. That was not a common thing until after Jurassic Park, even for a scientific institution like the Field Museum in Chicago. It wasn't that common. But now it is ubiquitous with dinosaurs. Because, like, you know, that is the image that people think of when they think of dinosaurs now. You know what I mean?
most dinosaurs were athletic animals and even quite nimble.
7,
Okay, this is one I see all the fucking time. Fair the fuck enough. I still see this one. Fair the fuck enough. I see this one all the fucking time. It's just because of the name fossil fuels. Yeah, fossil fuels are made of plankton, mostly. At least oil is. Right? Like crude oil. Crude oil is made of things like plankton. Coal and like peat and stuff. Like coal is made of like it is made of peat, I think. And also just like old wood, more or less. Generally from the Carboniferous period. And then there's natural gas, which I actually don't know what it's made of. I don't know if it's just like gas that comes out of otherwise existing fossil fuels. I don't know. I don't know anything about natural gas. Yeah, coal is Carboniferous plants and peat and shit. So people aren't like grinding up dinosaur bones and turning them into oil or anything like that. It's just because of the name fossil fuel that they think, because like, you know, when people think of fossils, they're mostly just thinking of dinosaur bones, which, like, you know, is an understandable enough association, but you gotta understand that, like, you know, there's a bunch of stuff that's fossilized. There's fossilized plants and all that kind of shit, and yes, there is fossilized plankton.
Here's another dinosaur misconception. Some people think when a dinosaur died naturally, or in a landslide or other natural disaster, it was covered in sediment and turned to oil over many millions of years. The fact is that dino flesh would have rapidly decayed or been scavenged way before it could have been converted.
6,
Oh god, he didn't explain what oil actually is or why it's even called fossil fuel. I get that he's got, like, you know, only so much fucking time to explain each of these, but like, shit, dog. You would have gone a long way in explaining like why it's called fossil fuels and why it's not dinosaur bones if you just like actually did that. Yeah, this might have just been made for boomers, dude. Okay, so he's gonna talk about
Well,
birds.
not exactly. Whereas all the T-Rexes and sauropods have long been buried, one of 8 major dinosaur groups, theropods, survived the Cretaceous Paleogene extinction event, and one of over 40 subgroups of theropods evolved into many birds we know today.
5.
Again, I feel like we established this way back in the dinosaurs were scaly one by saying that like some of the dinosaurs were actually quite small. Even then, I feel like this one doesn't really apply anymore. Again, partly because of Jurassic Park. Like the Velociraptors, as oversized as they were in that movie, were not very large compared to like, you know, the T-Rexes and the Brachiosauruses and the Stegosauruses and all that kind of shit that most people think of when they think of dinosaurs. And even then, like, hey, The Lost World may not be a good movie, and it may not stick in the public consciousness as much as the original Jurassic Park did, but it did still have the comp song with this. And hell, I feel like fucking Saltopus was a name that got thrown around a lot in the 90s. I remember hearing about Saltopus all the time. I think that's a dinosauromorph now, and not an actual dinosaur, but like, Saltopus was a very popular name. It's like, a little guy. It was just like one of the little dudes.
Though the dinosaurs which make it onto the silver screen and capture our attention are generally the larger, terrifying beasts, plenty of dinosaurs were quite small. Some of the smallest dinosaurs...
Oh look who it is! Son of a fucking bitch! It's Epidepiterix, Eptebexterix, Epexterix, Expooby Badooby. That's him. That's Finger Boy. Appendix, not what I'm called!
Paleontologists have identified weighed only a half pound, or 200 grams. One such example, Epidecipteryx, weighed about...
Okay, he fucking... I can't bully him for that one, because I've been having trouble. I have been having trouble with that fucker's name this entire time. Epidexiterix.
about 5.8 ounces, or 164 grams, and was about the size of an adult human foot.
4.
An adult human foot. Americans will use anything but the metric system. Will he mention Spinosaurus? Because this was in 2015. When did we get the swimmy tail?
Many people think dinosaurs which roamed the lands were
Oh, please don't. No.
too big and cumbersome to be good swimmers, but an international team of researchers have found evidence in China of nimble two-legged dinosaurs swimming in rivers.
3.
Why did you show an image of a plesiosaur then? Okay, I think I know what he's talking about because there are like dinosaur trackways that show them like kind of dragging their feet as though they're swimming through the water. There is also, I think, I don't know how recently discovered this was, an ankylosaur that is believed to be a swimmer and also potentially a fish eater. Is that what it was? There it is. What a little freak. What a goober. What a creature. Oh, Hulscaraptor. That's another good swimmy boy. Definitely wasn't semi-aquatic, definitely just drowned. Okay. Well, for a while it was believed to be semi-aquatic, so I thought maybe he would be talking about that. Yeah, that was discovered in 2001. So, like, he easily could have talked about that just based on when it was thought to be semi-aquatic. I would love if this was true, though. Just like an ankylosaur deciding, fuck it, I'm being a turtle. Dino duck. Hulscaraptor, 2017, so 2 years after this, so fair the fuck enough. The juvenile Longisquama that fossilized and was thought to be aquatic. Okay. Okay, so we got to do the T-Rex arms thing. Again, we don't know. We don't know about T-Rex's arms. Maybe they were used to grip onto prey during hunting. Maybe they were used during mating. Maybe they were used for something we don't know.
Looking at the size of the Tyrannosaurus rex, it seems like a creature which only focused on squats at the gym and always forgot arm day, right? This is another dinosaur myth. Though their arms weren't as terrifying as their massive jaws,
they were really strong.
Each T-Rex arm could have handled objects and animals up to a few hundred pounds with ease.
2.
Jurassic Park dinosaurs are from the Jurassic period. Okay, like, two of them are. 2 of them are, unless you count The Lost World. Then 3? No, 4. Compsognathus is also Jurassic. In the original Jurassic Park, it's just two. It's Brachiosaurus and Dilophosaurus. Commonly accepted hypothesis is that they were used in close range. I could buy that. It's just like, I'm not sure how practical it is, but like, fuck it. What do I know? I'm not a T-Rex, right? Yeah, the novel had Procompsognathus, which is Triassic, and I'm not sure if it's especially closely related to Compsognathus. In the original Jurassic Park, it's just Brachiosaurus and Dilophosaurus. Brachiosaurus is late Jurassic, Dilophosaurus is early Jurassic. And then in the Lost World, you have Compsognathus, who I think is early Jurassic. Maybe it's late Jurassic, I actually don't know. I don't know enough about Compsognathus. And there's Stegosaurus, who is late Jurassic. Oh, Mamenchisaurus, middle Jurassic. To be fair, I literally always forget that Mamenchisaurus is even a fucking dinosaur in the Jurassic Park franchise, because give me a fucking break. Give me a fucking break. Oh, Ceratosaurus in Jurassic Park 3. Yeah, also late Jurassic. Mamenchisaurus is the glup shitto of the Jurassic Park franchise, right? It shows up in one scene from a very low angle. You never even really see its head or its face, and in almost always, it is basically indistinguishable from Brachiosaurus. Mamenchisaurus is the glup shitto of Jurassic Park. Even the fucking frontier design in Jurassic World Evolution, it's not the same as the movie design, and people are like so grumpy about that. Like, how can you possibly care?
Guy with a pie donated $10. Hey anchovies. It's the Superfish Stick on a Stick Super Show. Super Mario theme plays.
I'm the fish stick. Arms from side to side. Come on, it's time to go do the fish stick. Jurassic Park Mamenchi isn't actually Mamenchi. It was based on Seismosaurus remains, which, as we all know, is actually Diplodocus, just like Velociraptor's Deinonychus. Good, cool, excellent.
Jurassic Park is without question one of the most popular dinosaur films ever made.
The most.
But even its name is wrong. The popular dinos from the film,
I mean, it's not wrong. Again, like, the first dinosaur they see is indeed from the Jurassic. Hell, even the first one on the tour is from the Jurassic.
including the T-Rex, Triceratops, and Velociraptor, didn't even live in the Jurassic period, which was 201.3 million to 145 million years ago. They were all terrors of the Cretaceous period, immediately following the Jurassic period.
1.
That literally is what it means, though. I mean, it is a translation. You could also say it means terrible reptile, but that's basically what it means. I mean, I'm assuming he's going to say that, like, oh, dinosaurs aren't actually lizards, but that is what the name means. That is a literal translation of the name. So, you're incorrect.
First off, dinosaurs aren't lizards. They're
Yeah,
reptiles.
we know that.
Secondly, the Greek word dinos, which paleontologist Richard Owen used in naming dinosaurs in 1842, means fearfully great. Simplifications over time have reduced it to terrible. Enjoying our lists? Be sure to click that.
Okay, so he's just being kind of pedantic about it. Which is... I don't know, man. We could have come up with something better than that. Guys, how are we feeling about that? Have we learned some things? Have we learned what not to believe about dinosaurs anymore? Learned nothing I didn't already know. Sick, dog. Hell yeah. This video is intended for children and normies, not paleo-autists. Hey, the Venn diagram of children and paleo-autists is a circle. Does they not know it's possible to clone dinosaurs by reverse engineering a bird's DNA? He said as if that were so simple. Simple, sis. Yeah, not the worst thing ever. I think being written by an actual person probably helped with that, and being made before the advent of AI. But like, a lot of it was super obvious stuff that was debunked ever since Jurassic Park came out, or even before then. And some of it is just like, well, some of it's just wrong. Some of it was wrong by the time the video came out. Some of it was wrong at least a bit after. We didn't even really come close to bingo, but again, I feel like this was very, very different from our normal Dino Sludge format, which, fair enough, right? All right, let's go. Insane-looking dinosaurs. I mean, number 10 is going to be Carnotaurus because we've been spoiled on that, but I am interested in seeing what insane-looking dinosaurs there are. I hope one of them's T-Rex.
Welcome to Mega Top 10s. In this video, we will explore 10 very strange-looking dinosaurs.
I expected him to have more of an awesome bro voice. I'm gonna be totally real. With the title like insane-looking dinosaurs, I expected to be more awesome bro, but he's just like, it's quite reserved.
So let's begin. Number 10. Carnotaurus.
Just jump right into it.
This devilish dino had 2 thick horns above its eyes, a feature unseen in all other carnivorous dinosaurs.
Sort of. Carnotaurus's structures are definitely unique among theropods, but there are definitely plenty of dinosaurs that have crests over their eyes. There's like, yeah, Ceratosaurus is an example. You have Allosaurus. In fact, ta-da! Look at that. Little pointy bits right over its eyes. I'm not going to discount you, right? Because, you know, the structures over Carnotaurus's eyes are indeed very unique. And especially among abelisaurs, where mostly in regards to things like Majungasaurus or Rajasaurus, you kind of just have like one little horn right in the middle of the head. Like not really big enough to be even considered like a unicorn horn or anything like that. It's just like a little bump. But yeah, a feature unseen in all other carnivorous dinosaurs is really not correct at all.
Carnotaurus was a lightly built bipedal predator measuring 9 meters in length and weighing up to 1.35 metric tons.
The length is obviously speculative. Most of Carnotaurus's tail is missing. Carnotaurus has a very largely complete skeleton, but things like its lower legs and its most of its tail would be reconstructed through other close relatives like Majungasaurus. Yes, shiny Carno. I'm so used to seeing Carnotaurus red that seeing a blue one is just like, ooh.
The distinctive horns and muscular neck may have been used in fighting. Rivaling in
a lot of debate has been done on, you know, the function of Carnotaurus's horns. The most obvious one is just like, hey, it's a sexual display structure. The sort of the common paleontology back and forth of these were probably too fragile to be used in fighting. Also, we have another reddish, more orange, really Carnotaurus here, proving my point. I don't think these would have been used for like straight up headbutting like you see in Pachycephalosaurs. I could definitely see them being used to like intimidate other like rival Carnotaurus. I don't really see them being used for like headbutting though. Yeah, like horn shoving.
Individuals may have combated each other with quick head blows,
Doubt
by
that.
slow pushes with the upper sides of their skulls, or by ramming each other head on. The feeding habits of Carnotaurus remain unclear. Scientists still argue whether it hunted large sauropods or smaller animals.
I feel like that's kind of the case with abelisaurs in general, if I'm being perfectly honest. I'm not really sure if we have like a case of niche partitioning for them, like we do with, I want to say, things like allosaurs and carcharodontosaurs. Like we generally find allosaurs and carcharodontosaurs in association with things like large sauropods, and when the sauropods go away, that's when they go away. When it comes to abelisaurs, I'm really not sure what the case is there. Especially adapted to hunt small prey, that's why it has the quick but weak jaw. Interesting. I wonder if like the short face like helps with that, like helps with hunting small prey. I feel like it would honestly be a bit of a hindrance if you ask me. No, there's no melanosomes found in Carnotaurus fossils as far as I'm aware. Like red is just a super popular color for it. It's just kind of one of those paleo memes. Like we've got Allosaurus here. Allosaurus having like red crests over the eyes is another one of those paleo memes. Walking with Dinosaurs did it. Jurassic Fight Club did it. Hell, I think when dinosaurs roamed America is one of the only ones that didn't do it, because like it was just like, oh, our Allosaurus is all gray. When Dinosaurs Roamed America is pretty good. Honestly, their depiction of Allosaurus is not my favorite.
Number 9. Dilophosaurus.
Speaking of When Dinosaurs Roamed America,
Dilophosaurus gets its name from the 2 crests of bone on the top of its head.
we got the frill. Also, this just looks so weird. Yeah, he looks oily. He looks greasy. He's a greasy boy. Like, his face just looks so weird.
which was probably used for courtship.
That is
Dilophosaurus
true.
was a fast dino that measured around 7 meters long and may have weighed up to 500 kilograms. The neck frills and venom were made up for the movie Jurassic Park.
The neck frill specifically was made up for Jurassic Park, because they just wanted something that was like visually distinctive and like popped a lot. The poison was made up for the novel, actually. And yeah, this image is fucking weird. It's like if fucking T-Rex had a hybrid with Dilophosaurus, which would be kind of useless. Like, oh man, you know what would make T-Rex more dangerous? If it could spit venom. But yeah, the venom was made up for the novel. Like, that was basically the thing that Michael Crichton was trying to do there, is like, hey, there's some things that can't fossilize. So we can't possibly know this about the dinosaur when we're bringing it back. So when we bring back Dilophosaurus, it turns out, oh hey, it spits venom like a fucking cobra. How else will it fight the Gigasloposaurus? By slapping it on its giant beluga whale forehead. Jurassic World, the game, has a hybrid exactly like this. Hold on, I think my shitty Jurassic World Pokemon Go game has a hybrid like this too. Also, yeah, frilled lizards do have bones in their frills. Their frills, rather. So, if Dilophosaurus did have a frill, then, like, you know, assuming that fossil preserved, there would be evidence of it. Yeah, Tyrannolophosaur. Yeah, isn't that cool? The glare is unfortunate. Yeah, it doesn't have the frill, which is maybe for the best. Kind of hate that Dilophosaurus is still only known for its Jurassic Park appearance, and its only role in fiction has been venom-spitting cobra in 99% of its portrayals. That's why I love that When Dinosaurs Roamed America, Dilophosaurus so fucking much. It's so good, and the roar is the best. It looks so cool, it's just this giant badass. Ah. When Dinosaurs Roamed America, Dilophosaurus is like peak Dilophosaurus. We're never gonna get cooler than that. Anyway, though.
100 kilograms. The neck frills and venom were made up for the movie Jurassic Park. Some scientists believe that Dilophosaurus scavenged.
There we go. Yeah, we're going back to the whole weak jaws Dilophosaurus thing, which, as far as I'm aware, has been largely debunked. As far as, like, this was something I heard all the fucking time. It's like, oh, Dilophosaurus had super weak jaws. This is saying that its teeth were too weak, which is no, that's not right at all. It was because of the jaw strength. Okay, it had a bite comparable to a polar bear. So, yeah, that's wrong.
Off carrion because its teeth were too weak to bring down large prey. This is still the cause of debate.
Not anymore.
Dilophosaurus may have been piscivorous due to the presence of swim tracks at some localities.
That would be very difficult to pin to Dilophosaurus specifically, unless it's just like, oh, these tracks are so large that they only could have come from Dilophosaurus in this area. Ichnotaxon, which are things like, you know, footprint fossils or eggshell fossils, those are very difficult to ascribe to a particular species, which is why, you know, they get their own ichnotaxa. And for dinosaur footprints, like theropod footprints specifically, I believe, that is an ichnotaxon called Grelator. Yeah, see, it's just like theropod footprint. You can buy fossils of these. I've seen them for sale. Small three-toed footprint made by a variety of bipedal theropod dinosaurs. It's not assigned to any particular species.
Number 8. Longisquama.
Alright, we got 9 dinosaur and dinosaur list. Longisquama
Longisquama means
is not a dinosaur. God, what the fuck is it even? I don't know enough about Longisquama, but I don't think anyone does. I don't think anyone knows what kind of animal Longisquama is. I don't think anyone knows what the fuck those things on its back were used for. I know that in the beginning of Disney's Dinosaur, it was like a very common depiction is using those for flight, just kind of flapping around with them. I don't know if that's the case. I don't think it is. A basal ungrouped diaspid. Sick dog. So we don't know. I have no idea what it is. But no, neither does anyone.
long scales.
It's a
and
reptile.
is notable for a number of long structures that grow from its skin. These structures have been interpreted as either primitive feathers suggesting Longisquama is a close relative of birds, or as feather-like structures that have evolved independently.
I have heard about that like these could have been feathers, which if it is a basal diaspid would actually make a lot of sense, because like dinosaurs, as far as I'm aware, are diaspids, and or is it diapsid? I always get that mixed up. Whatever. And so like if this is like super basal and going back to like the origins of diapsids, including dinosaurs and pterosaurs and things like that, which also had you know, their filamentous structures, their feathers, their pycnofibers, which are just feathers, then yeah, I could definitely see this having similar feather-like structures, assuming that is the case.
Houbolt and Buffet-Hull believed that the structures were like paired gliding membranes,
Diapsid, okay.
and put forward that the creature could glide, or at least parachute. Though this is now thought to be inaccurate, versions of this reconstruction are still often seen on the internet.
Or in Disney's Dinosaur. Longisquama flight truthers when you ask them to explain how flying with your spine would work. Listen, have faith.
Number 7. Bonitosaurus.
Okay.
This dinosaur gives duckface a new meaning. Bonitosaurus certainly did not win any beauty pageants back then.
I don't know if that trick did either.
Bonitosaurus.
Yeah, this is like a relatively small South American sauropod. So, this is an interesting pick. I'll give you this one. Like, I think Bonitosaurus has sort of a, do you feel bonita? Yeah, look at, it's got like a swamp. What a freaky little critter. Oh, Jurassic World the game. What awful designs you have. Yeah, there's not many depictions of this guy, honestly, except for the fucking shitty Jurassic World one. But it seems pretty similar to Nigrosaurus, just based on its face. Oh, because it seems to be fairly poorly known, except for its face. Oh no, it's decently complete for a sauropod.
Measured 9 meters in length and had a skull similar to another group of sauropods, the Diplodocids. The lower jaw had a distinctive, sharp ridge immediately behind a reduced set of teeth. This ridge supported a sharp, beak-like keratin sheath, which worked much like a guillotine to crop vegetation raked into the mouth by the peg-like front teeth. It had a short, very muscular neck, indicating that it was used in vigorous exertions, probably during feeding. Number 6. Changu-raptor. In July 2014, a team of...
Okay, we got a couple of obscure taxa here. You know, we got the Changu-raptor.
Paleontologists announced the identification of a new Microraptoria.
A new Microraptoria.
A 4-winged predatory dinosaur, was discovered in northeastern China. It lived around 125 million years ago in the Cretaceous period. Analysis of the fossil revealed that the specimen was approximately 1.2 meters long. This makes Changu-raptor the largest 4-winged Microraptorian known.
That's still not very big, unfortunately. Yeah, that's like 3 feet and change. Not exactly an enormous animal for being like, you know, the largest Microraptorian. However, it is still the largest Microraptorian, and I'm counting that.
Its tail feathers were around 30 centimeters long, making them the longest of any feathered dinosaur.
I don't know, that's
Number
true.
5. Cryolophosaurus. Cryolophosaurus was about 7 meters long, making it one of the largest...
Look at all the spit he's got in his mouth. He's spitting. Also, he's got the flexing tongue thing. On the topic of dinosaur tongues, it's very unlikely they would have been able to flex like this, just because like the bone that supports the tongue in dinosaurs is much more similar to it than to crocodiles than it is to things like birds. So their tongue probably would have been like stiff in their mouth and not like flexible.
Theropods of its time.
Which is true.
Cryolophosaurus had a distinctive crest on its head that spanned the head from side to side, similar to a Spanish cone.
This is true. Me and Lance in chat up here, we saw the holotype of Cryolophosaurus at the Field Museum, and it was very cool.
It is thought that this bizarre crest was used for interspecies recognition. Cranial display features
Ah,
such
the
as
dinosaur
this make sense
revolution
in
one.
social gregarious animals, where other members of the species are available to observe and interpret messages of sexual status. Unfortunately, the brain of Dilophosaurus was also more primitive than that of other theropods.
Well, yeah, it's from the early Jurassic. Like, the fact that it's as big and awesome as it is basically a miracle for early Jurassic theropods. I just think it's funny that, like, the entire dinosaur revolution fucking Cryolophosaurus plotline is just like, oh, the male gets cucked, and then he gets his crest ripped off, and it's just like, oh, well, that's just depressing. Thanks for that one, I guess.
Number 4.
Non-dinosaur once again, Tanystropheus.
Tanystropheus. Tanystropheus was a 6 meter or 20 foot long reptile that dated from the Middle Triassic period. The most recognizable feature of Tanystropheus is its
Also, hold up, did he just call it a dinosaur? No, he did call it a reptile.
hyper-elongate neck, equivalent to the combined length of the body and tail. The neck was composed of 12 to 13 cervical vertebrae.
Yeah, Tanystropheus was fucking weird. Yeah, we've already got, like, you know, non-dinosaur and dinosaur lists, so it's a very long boy. People are still, like, I think kind of mixed on what Tanystropheus was even doing. Like, was it standing on the shoreline and kind of fishing with its giant neck? Was it, like, kind of wading in the water, kind of like what you see in sea monsters?
The pectoral and pelvic girdles are noticeably distinct. The forelimbs are smaller and more slender than the hind limbs, suggesting that the center of mass was closer towards the pelvic girdle. Tanystropheus is considered to have been piscivorous due to the presence of a long, narrow snout with sharp teeth.
Yeah, like, we can pretty much just assume that Tanystropheus is, like... We know it has something to do with water, because, you know, it's found around, aquatic areas. And also because, like, yeah, it's got, like, the fish-eating teeth. But, to what degree is it semi-aquatic? I think we're still not sure. It could be that it's kind of just being like a sort of progenitor, not evolutionarily speaking, but like, you know, in terms of its ecology of things like plesiosaurs, where it's just kind of scooting around under the water and using its long neck to catch fish. Or it could be that it's like on the shore as seen in this image and just like kind of peering down, almost like a heron. Imagine a lizard, but it's a heron. That's Tanystropheus.
Number 3. Styracosaurus.
Okay, like, this is 7 years ago, so fuck it. Like, I know that more weird-looking ceratopsians have been discovered since then, but, like, I still feel like you could have come up with a more insane-looking one than Styracosaurus. I love Styracosaurus. It's one of my favorite ceratopsians, but you could pick weirder ones. Also, yeah, Tanystropheus for JW3, I could totally see that. 100%.
Styracosaurus, meaning spiked lizard,
That's a
was
good
a
picture,
dino
though.
from the Cretaceous period that lived around 75 million years ago. It had 4 to 6 long horns extending from its neck frill, a smaller horn on each of its cheeks, and a single horn on its nose, which may have been up to 60 centimeters long. And
like, Styracosaurus is definitely very interesting, though, especially when you got the fucking, the knowledge that, like, each Styracosaurus's horn ornamentation would have been, like, unique and even potentially asymmetrical among each animal. Yeah, look at the squad rolling up. They're about to drop the sickest album cover of the late Cretaceous period. Langobardosaurus. Every copy of Styracosaurus is personalized. Oh my... What a creature. Oh my goodness, look at him go. Look at those legs. Look at those legs. Oh my goodness, what a little goober. I love him so much. What a lad. I don't know if he's quite as good as I'll fly with my back legs, but that's still really good.
15 centimeters wide. The function of the horns has been debated for many years. Styracosaurus was a relatively large dinosaur, reaching lengths of 6 meters and weighing up to 3 tons.
It depends on what scale you're grading on there. Like, relatively large compared to things like a lot of small shit like Dryosaurus and the small theropods. Like, yeah, sure. large in comparison to things like even other ceratopsians, or just like, you know, the sauropods. I'd call Styracosaurus like an average-sized dinosaur. That's just me, though.
Like other ceratopsians, this dinosaur may have been a herd animal.
Okay, like other ceratopsians is a bit contentious. Like I mentioned earlier, there is evidence that Pachyrhinosaurus may have traveled in herds because of the evidence of large bone beds in places like Alaska and I think Dinosaur Park and shit like that. Large bone beds filled with shitloads of Pachyrhinosaurus suggest that these animals were traveling in groups together. However, Triceratops, based on its fossil evidence, is largely believed to have been a mostly solitary animal. Possible that this might have traveled in herds, but like you really would have to look at the fossil evidence in order to say for certain. Also, yeah, this image does show this Styracosaurus eating flesh. We've talked about this before. Obligate herbivory is basically a myth. This Styracosaurus, like, I actually really like this depiction of Styracosaurus, not just, like, in terms of the coloration and, like, the quills, but in terms of it being, like, shown doing a unique behavior in terms of, like, an herbivore eating meat in order to get some extra nutrients. I think this is really cool.
Traveling in large groups, as suggested by bone beds. Number 2. Spinosaurus.
Okay, this is 7 years ago. Swimmy Tail was in 2020, so we're not getting the Swimmy Tail on this one.
Spinosaurus was among the largest of all known carnivorous dinosaurs,
In terms of
best
length.
known for the sail on its back. This 21-ton predator spent most of its days in.
Yeah, so we're still getting like new Spino, but pre-Swimmy Tail Spino. So like this one particular era of it when we had like knuckle walking Spino. It was a weird time to be a Spinosaurus fan.
And around rivers.
21 tons? Hold the fuck up. It's 42,000 pounds. Wild size overestimate. Actually, there was Jurassic Park footage there, because I had, like, the Jurassic Park image. Okay, this is just insane looking, so, like, I'm fine with Longisquama and Tenistropheus being on here. It's like, they're weird looking, but they're harmless. I'm fine with that. He's been surprisingly good about using related animals and, like, just, you know, the animal in question. Hell, even for Bonitosaur, who doesn't have that many depictions, the video is, like, not all that bad. It's presenting the highly outdated facts, like the Longisquama flying thing, as, like, actually being, you know, flying, as being outdated, basically. So, honestly, this isn't that bad, comparatively speaking.
Catching fish between its massive crocodile-like jaws and surfacing like an alligator to grab smaller land-bound dinosaurs.
Okay, I don't know if Spinosaurus would have been... Okay, we do have Suchomimus here. Another relatively famous picture. I don't know if Spinosaurus would have been, like, kind of doing the crocodile thing of, like, waiting by the shore for dinosaurs to come take a drink so it could, like, come and grab them. That would be interesting, but I don't know if there is any evidence of that sort of thing. I think that because he's been so good on this up until this point, and because this is just, like... There's a lot of material for Spinosaurus. We can use unrelated animal here. Like, come on, you could have done better than this.
Spinosaurus may have even battled the massive ancient crocodile Sarcosuchus.
No, it would not have, by the way. Sarcosuchus lived, like, I think it is accurate to show Sarcosuchus being contemporary with Suchomimus and Tyrannosaurus in the background here, but it would not have been contemporary with Spinosaurus. Suchomimus predated Spinosaurus by quite a lot. And so did our good friend the Super Crack here. So yeah, again, this fight between Suchomimus and Sarcosuchus, sure, go ahead and show that one. Not Spinosaurus. Spinosaurus had its own shit to worry about with Carcharodontosaurus.
AKA the Super Croc from time to time. Imagine how epic that fight would have looked.
The Super Crack.
Spinosaurus was likely to have been an opportunistic predator, the Cretaceous equivalent of a grizzly bear.
Fair comparison.
Number 1. Therizinosaurus. The most distinctive feature of Therizinosaurus was...
Okay, now this is an album cover. This is like an album cover or like a comic book cover. Like, look at this. He's just showing off.
The presence of gigantic claws on their front limbs. It is estimated Therizinosaurus was 10 meters in length and 5 tons in weight. They are the largest Therizinosaurs known and the largest known Maniraptorans. The claws.
All of this is true, if I'm not mistaken. It's always nice, right? When, like, the thing that names the entire group is, like, the largest and most impressive of that group. You got that with, like, you know, Tyrannosaurus, Therizinosaurs. You don't really get Stegosaurus, that one's the biggest. And then you have Plesiosaurs. And Plesiosaurus is just, like... It's arguably the lamest of the Plesiosaurs. It's okay. It's like 13 feet long-ish. Yeah, and then there's Ichthyosaurs. Ichthyosaurus is like, it's fine. It alright. I mean, like, even Hadrosaurus is, like, still pretty big.
Are the longest known from any animal at 1 meter in length. They are relatively straight, only gradually tapering into a point, and extremely narrow. The feeding habits of Therizinosaurus are unknown, since no skull material has ever been found that could show their diet.
Okay, but skull material of close relatives, such as Erlikosaurus, have been found, which show that, like, yeah, this depiction here is pretty much accurate. Yeah, these would have been plant eaters, more or less. They were ecologically very similar to giant ground sloths. So they were using their big-ass claws to, like, bring down branches, all that kind of good shit. Like, bring down branches into its mouth. And we also saw a Megatherium skeleton at the Field Museum, and oh my god, they are so much bigger than I thought they would be. Like looking at these animals, like, actually in person, because I've only ever been to my own local natural history museum. So, like, I've seen, like, Albertosaurus and I think Lambeosaurus and stuff like that. We don't really have a whole lot in terms of our dinosaur selection. Holy shit, like, actually seeing a T-Rex skeleton and, like, fucking the Titanosaur is insane. And, like, even Parasaurolophus is just, like, it's a surprisingly large animal, right? Like, you don't really get a good sense of scale for it until you just look at it, right? Megatherium is so fucking big. It's enormous. Like, I'd really love to see, like, a full-size Edmontosaurus and Nectens, or, like, a Shantungosaurus or something like that, just so I can, like, blow Parasaurolophus out of the water. Like, Triceratops was, I think, the only dinosaur I saw where I'm just like, yeah, that's about how big I expected it would be. Everything else is just like, I didn't know it was gonna be that big.
Thank you for watching Mega Top 10s. We hope you
Hammond knew about the D-Rex. I wanted to show them something that wasn't an illusion. Something that you could see and touch. I wanted to show them a 4-armed, 30-foot-tall Distortus Rex that would eat them. That would grab them and spin them around. Yeah, honestly, this is probably the best sludge video we've watched so far. We could definitely do worse than this. I don't know what the fuck's going on over here. But, like, we could do worse than this. Spino doesn't look weird. He is just different. Yeah, that's weird. Stinky.